solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be. For justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When Granny's crime busters run, no victims left in pain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Hello, Brenda Joe. Good to see you. Got Lacey all set over there. Hello, CJ. Good to see you. So we are continuing our discussion. Hello, Pam, Ginger. Good to see you guys. So we're continuing our discussion on Sebastian Rogers, and I'm sure you saw on YouTube. Oh, what does a bad parent look like? And we're going to take a look at that. But first, I wanted to share with you some new pictures that have come out. Let's see here. There's that one. There is that one. This is the one that I was talking about a while back, about how their legs are all up, but you can't see it all. And there's this one. Sebastian is pretty young at all these. Assuming this is where they lived on Remington Avenue in Gallatin, because he was so young there. And we know that Sebastian liked fishing, right? And then there's a picture of him. I think that one's cute. All these cute pictures of Sebastian, right? Hello, Melissa. You're doing good. So, I had seen a video with this title, and I thought, okay. It's by Deception Detective, who, is a lawyer, and he can tell you. He tells us in this video. So we'll just get started. And it says, this is what bad parents look like.
I'm Deception Detective. I'm an attorney trained in statement analysis, and this channel exists to expose lies and manipulation. Today, we'll watch the Proudfoot's very first interview, which they gave about a week after Sebastian was reported missing, and we'll be looking for signs of guilty knowledge. This video is part of my ongoing Sebastian Rogers series, and if you've been following along, you'll know I've avoided analyzing the Proudfoots for over a month now, and that's for three reasons. The first is I was hoping to interview the Proudfoots. I made multiple offers to them, but I've not heard back, so we're going to analyze them here today. The second reason is I think other analysts like Pat Brown and Peter Hyatt have already done a great job analyzing the Proudfoots. And the third reason is something that's unique to me, which I've talked about in the DD forum, and we'll go over that in this video. Without further ado, let's listen.
Can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
Um,
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna
Always.
come home.
One thing I don't like with interviewers is when they provide answers to the interviewee. So what we're watching now is the unedited cut of the first interview the Proudfoots did with a local news station, I think WSMV4. And it's recorded in 4 parts. So even though this one's just 5 minutes, there's like 3 other parts that we'll look at.
And sorry to stop it right there at the beginning, but I did want to just say, you guys, this was with Holly Thompson. She brought up trying to have hope. She brought it up in the year mark interview as well. For those of you who were at our members only live, you know the background there. So she is a friend of the family who did this interview, right? And I'm sure Deception Detective was not aware of that as well. But he's already saying she's giving them answers, right? Cheryl, you're cooking again. And I'm just reading chat here, guys. Yes, and we do hope that he's growing into a good-looking young man. Let's continue.
The issue with an interviewer providing the answer to the question is that we don't hear what the parents are saying or what they would have said without that feedback. And it's important for us to hear that because there are 7 things we look for when parents of missing children get the opportunity to go onto the news or speak to a YouTuber or do an interview. And I'll just go over those here so you can bear them in mind as we listen. This is my list. You can find it in the DD forum. I've used it across multiple cases on the channel, from the McCanns to the Wells, to William Tyrrell's foster parents, to Jen Soto. And I've not updated it in a very long time because it's so predictive. So here's what we look for. We want the parents to speak about the kid in the present tense. We want the parents to be cooperative. So if they get asked a question, they do their best to answer the question and not over answer, right? So they answer what they're asked, but they're not trying to push a narrative. Like the McCanns pushing the narrative of a kidnapping when they're asked what could have happened. Third is the parents are inconclusive. So if the parents say 100%, my kid was kidnapped without any evidence that someone broke into the house, or in this case, they say, my kid walked away or ran away without any evidence that the kid did that, it's a red flag. Fourth, if the kid is missing and
They walked away without any evidence of them walking away. That's a red flag. And I think that's the case here, isn't it? They said, I don't know why he walked out that door. Because he didn't walk out the door, right? Interesting. Red flag.
parents are on TV, we can expect them to address a kidnapper. So even if they're not sure the kid was kidnapped, they don't know what actually happened. So we can expect them to at least look into the camera and say, if you have my son, Sebastian, please return him to us. We won't pursue you. Just drop him off at a police station.
Okay. In this case, guys, who has said that? Of the 3 parents, who has said that? If you have my son, please just drop him off, even at a gas station. Which one of the parents, Seth, Katie, or Chris, have said that? Exactly, Ginger. Seth said it. Seth said it. He's the only one of the 3 that has said it. I encourage you, go and look back at the interviews. People have asked Chris and Katie, what would you say if you could be talking to your son right now? Oh, I would tell him, you know, that we love him, you know, they don't talk directly to him, and they don't talk directly to whoever they think may have him, because they know what happened. They know the truth. I watched an FBI agent, and he talked about the whites of the eyes and the looking up to the left or the right. Yes. Yes. Looking up to, yeah. Isn't it one or the other or something? And Pam says, allow you 2 people to interview him, see how they answer questions. Well, they have been interviewed by a few. Chris doesn't answer questions. Hello, Aries. Good to see you. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Yes. I hear ya. Let's continue.
5th, we can expect parents to address the child through the camera. Since they don't know what happened to their kid, for all they know, the kid is watching, so they'll take that opportunity to speak to the kid. Sebastian, we know you're out there. If you're watching this, we love you. We're going to find you. 6th, the parents ask for help. That's the entire point of these appearances. If the parents don't ask for help, it means A, that they might know the kid is beyond any help. They might know the kid is already dead. Or it might mean they have an ulterior motive. They're not necessarily doing this interview to help find their kid. They're doing it to push a narrative, or they're doing it to clear their own name. Either way, they have some other agenda, and that's not expected if your kid is missing.
What do you think the agenda is, guys? Is it to push a narrative? What do you think? Yes, Chris does like to tell stories when he's asked questions. But I think he did. I think they're trying to push a narrative. That's right. They're not following up on the questions. CP always changes the subject or becomes angry. And we've seen that in one of Deception Detective's other analysis video of Chris Proudfoot, right? We have seen that. I think it was when he was on the panel with Truth, right? And Deception Detective, or as everybody likes to call him from the last one, Mr. Yummy, he pointed out that they just let it go. They didn't stay on it. That Chris got his way. He, made a distraction and went off about something else, and he got his way. They never stayed on the subject and made him answer the question. He does it all the time. And the only time he didn't get away with that or even try it was on Nancy Grace. But then with her, I mean, she just she controlled that narrative completely. She really controlled it. And Deception Detective was not too thrilled with her interview with them because of the control that she had over them. I understand why she did it. She is very much, she has to have things on time, right? And so um she's just quickly wants answers. She doesn't want to have a long drawn out explanation, which Chris and Katie are known to do. Long drawn out explanations, big time.
And seventh, there's a call to action. So if the parents have to be prompted to say, if you see my kid, call 911, or if they have to be prompted to describe their kid or ask for help, it means that, once again, their appearance was not about finding the kid. There was some ulterior motive, and we need to figure out what that was.
And isn't that true, guys? I think in every single interview, they have been prompted to say, what would you say to your son? Do you have hope? They've been prompted. They haven't done it on their own. Seth has. Seth won't even, he doesn't even like being asked other questions. He wants it all to be about Sebastian, right? And he'll bring it back around to Sebastian every single time.
All right, let's keep listening.
He's going to walk through that door. And the street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
So here we are, 8 days now searching for him. Walk us through that Sunday night that he went missing. So walk us through, we've got so many people who really want to know, okay, how did this happen? So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home.
Holly just said to her, walk us through that night. Where did she go? We were out and about that day. We had a really good weekend. She's not even answering the question here.
Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Said good night to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. That's an interesting statement, and lots of people have commented that on my previous videos, saying that the mom said that. And it is a strange statement, because if someone's not there, you can't wake them up for school. If she said I went into his room to wake him up for school and discovered he wasn't there, that would make more sense. So why did she say that? It could be that this story is fabricated, right? So your imagination is a lot weaker than your memories. So if you scripted a story of what you did that morning, let's say she and Chris sat down and said, okay, here's what you're going to say. You're going to say you went into his room to wake him up for school. He wasn't there. You panicked. That could explain a small mess up like that, where she says something that doesn't technically make sense. Kind of like how the McCann said, well, we went into Madeline's room and found her not there. It doesn't make sense. You don't find something that's not there. You might realize she wasn't there, or you might find an empty bed, but you don't find someone who's not there. And there's a whole analysis behind that if you want to watch my McCann's playlist. But suffice to say, that is a strange statement. I recognize it as such, but we need multiple signs of scripting before we feel more comfortable accusing people of having scripted a story. So let's keep listening. And then we'll get into that third reason why I've put off analyzing these parents for so long.
Well, I want to know what you guys think. I know that he's waiting, but I want to know what you think. Was her story scripted? Because how many people have talked about that statement, right? I went in to wake him up and he wasn't there. No, she doesn't give details for that night, does she? Hardly at all. And she's added to it over time. Yeah, Nancy Grace usually pushes for true answers. How many people would allow their children to visit in their home when Sebastian comes home? If Sebastian's with Seth, I would in a heartbeat. If Sebastian is with these two, no way on God's green earth, for lack of a better word. Sebastian was a 15-year-old that loved going to school. He had a set routine. I am shocked that he had to be told to wake up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking about alarm clock or whatever. Did they not have one in there for him and he had to depend on that, or what's the deal there? Because he's high functioning, he could have learned how to use an alarm clock. But yeah, I really feel that her statements about what happened are scripted because she's added to them over time, right? She added, she heard something, she added, I heard a noise, she embellished, well, it was a thud. I mean, she's added to it. And right here, she didn't even say anything about the noise, right? She didn't even talk about what time she went to bed. All that stuff was added later.
So, in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6 o'clock?
6.
So, were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be already in the shower?
I took a
in the living
second.
room?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
Here's another thing that we're going to notice a lot as they talk and as we go through all of their interviews. And this is because of you guys, right? So if you're part of the DD forum, I read all your posts. If you're a member of the channel, I read all your comments. If you're a subscriber, I read all your comments. And lots of people have pointed out to me the number 3. Lots of the times or locations or amounts that the Proudfoots talk about involve the number 3. And that is an important detail. And 3 is actually known as the liar's number. So I'm going to read you that card from the deception deck. If you're not familiar, the deception deck is my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and deception. And you can buy it at deceptiondeck.com. So I'm going to read you the card for the number 3, which is in the deck. Here's the card. Each card in the deck is a flashcard. So it has the rule on the front, and then on the back it has the explanation of the rule as well as a real world example. So this is the card for 3. And I'll just read you the rule. Liars often use the number 3 in their statements. If a statement includes a 3, like 3 p.m., third floor, $300,000, 3 minutes, it might be fabricated. The reason why people use the number 3 is unknown. There's lots of different studies into why that happens. But for us, for our purposes, it is a human phenomenon. When people are lying or making up a story, if they need to pick a number out of thin air, they typically pick the number 3. Kind of like if people are asked their lucky number, they usually pick the number 7. So the fact that she said she was on the phone with Chris for 3 minutes or within 3 minutes, does that mean she's lying? Not necessarily, but we need to be on alert for it. So I'm going to rewind here. Let's listen again.
About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
Well, guys, I did not know that about the number 3. The flashlight video incident, 3 a.m. Weird, right? 3 minutes. That is really, really eerie. Very eerie. I did not know that. My son has heard Chris talk on the internet and he never wants to be around him. Well, thank God he never have to be. This is CJ. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh. The other thing, he didn't mention it here. I don't know if he will, but the thing that bothers me. Okay, so let's try to picture this. Okay. And just go with it, guys. Just go with me, okay? Because I'm trying to make a point here. So she can't find Sebastian. She's frantic. She's looked throughout the house in 3 minutes, right? She calls Chris and he answers and she says, I can't find him. Is that what you would say? If he has, I just noticed the picture. Look at Chris's face. Oh my gosh. Anyway, is that what you would say if Chris had no idea? Okay, let's say this is all innocent. It's not a script. It's not anything. Okay. Is that what you would say? I can't find him. It's your first words. I can't find him. Who? What can't you find? I mean, right? Please play that again, please. Okay, I will. Let me.
All right, so 3 minutes.
Give or take, I was on about 3 minutes in, give or take. I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
All right, so 3 minutes in, give or take, I called my husband. Does that mean she's lying? Not necessarily. It could just be she's guessing about how long it took, right? So people don't actually have to be trying to deceive you to pick the number 3, but it does tell us that she's being a little bit loose with the facts. She's not doing her best to be specific unless it literally was 3 minutes. And the way she said it sounded like it was a guesstimate. So this could either be fabricated, like she took longer to call Chris, or her call with Chris was scheduled ahead of time. You know, something happened to Sebastian the night before, and she and Chris spoke, and he said, okay, at this time, you're going to call me. So she's saying, yeah, it took about 3 minutes to look for Sebastian because she wasn't actually looking for Sebastian. That's possible.
That's possible. And also the fact that she said, I can't find him, suggests a script as well to me, because that's not what you would say. If I was going to call my husband to tell him that my child was missing, that's the first thing I would be saying is so and so is missing, right? Not I can't find him. Makes no sense to me.
He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her, so
Yes,
you were not home.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, it was like, what? I was confused. We talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
Within minutes, they're here at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars. They had cars from here down to the
main
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going?
So I don't want to miss everybody that's coming in. So Miss J, welcome. We're happy to have you. Pam says I would be screaming at Chris. Yeah. The dog. Hello, Rosebud. Chris has no light in his eyes. He looks ill. Yeah. I don't know. I heard a scenario, I think yesterday, that said that Chris told somebody that he thought Katie did something. I don't know if that's all true or not. If that's the case, why did he stick around? I mean, I don't know. Hello, K9. That's all right. Glad you're here. All right, let's see. Yeah, see, her statements don't match up. What about driving your car? She forgot that part. Yeah, and they called somebody else. Law enforcement knows who it was, though. Right? I mean, just crazy. And think about it. Is this what bad parenting is? Inquiring minds want to know.
Through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, oh, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son.
Now, did you hear that? I'm sorry but Holly is directing her. Are you panicking? Are you thinking he's probably at a neighbor's house? What are you thinking? She is giving them answers, things to say. Why? What's up with Holly Thompson? I'm just saying, guys.
Doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away.
This is another interesting statement that I've seen brought up a lot. My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. It's a very specific denial. So first of all, okay, fine. He's not a runner, but could he have walked out the door? Could he have been pushed out the door? I know that Peter Hyatt has a theory that they locked him outside as a form of punishment. and then he might have wandered off or something happened to him. That wouldn't require him to run. He could literally just be pushed out the door or walk out the door. So saying he's not a runner could be 100% true, but it doesn't mean that he wasn't put out and walked off or wandered off due to their negligence or to escape abuse. You don't have to run away to get away from an abusive parent. You can walk away. So that is an interesting thing that she brings up. And also, I've seen clips of them saying he walked out that door conclusively. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe he did walk out the door. But maybe he walked out because he was told to, or because there was a threat of punishment if he didn't step outside the door. So that could all be 100% true. The other main thing here is when they talk about him walking out the door, it's very conclusive. How do they know he wasn't kidnapped? How do they know he didn't, someone didn't knock on his window and have him come out and then close the window behind him and trick him like a predator, tricking him out of the house, kidnapping him, taking him? How do they?
Well, at this point in time, deception detective didn't realize that there's no way that Sebastian walked out the house. We all know now that it's not possible. There's no evidence of it. He would have been seen on camera. So, but the $1 million question is, are they even so-called parents, in my opinion? Yeah. The best thing is, are they? But what happened answers to those questions later on. They tried to use those scenarios as possible events for the reason that Sebastian is gone. Yeah. Yes. Good point, CJ. Research the reporter and her husband. That is very colorful to law enforcement when they see that type of question given happen when someone just randomly asked them a question and all of a sudden try to make it reality or possibility. Yeah. Especially like he said, when they're being conclusive, he walked out that door. No. Chris and Katie both know he didn't walk out the door. They both know that.
They know he went out the door and not the window, right? So there is some conclusiveness here that is concerning. Now, obviously, we're only 4 minutes into an interview, but I'm pointing all these things out because these should add up over time. If we see them fail, all 7 of these things on our checklist, we can place more chips on our bet that they know what happened to them.
Way before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
Because he
Once
didn't.
again, I don't know why he walked out the door. But how does she know if he walked out? The question should be, I don't know what happened to him. She doesn't know why he walked out the door. But she does know if he walked out the door. And this is where Peter Hyatt and Pat Brown's analysis makes a lot of sense to me. And I recommend subscribing to their channels. I've recommended both of them in my member section for a very long time because I think they do great work. I personally have put off analyzing these parents myself, however, because of the way that I approach true crime and the sort of Bayesian thinking that I do. So let's wrap up this first segment, and then I'll go over that and how I think about these things, and also how you can use Bayesian thinking as a tool to make better decisions when you're analyzing suspects, but also just better decisions in general in your own life.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately. And we just don't have that.
You think back, and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside. Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving.
Notice how the constant question they have is why he walked out. That's what they're saying they don't know. They're not saying they don't know whether or not he walked out. So I think it's safe to assume they know for a fact that he walked out that front door. And the question is, of course, did he walk out because he wanted to be a teen runaway, or because he was being abused, or because he was pushed outside as a form of punishment? I think that's what this all boils down to at this point, because they seem certain that he walked out the door. Now, could they be hoaxing? Could they be saying that he went out that door because they did something else to him and they want us to believe he walked out the door? Yes.
Yes.
But the fact that they're slipping up by saying that they know he went out, they just don't know why, seems to indicate that they're trying to hide the fact that they know for sure he went out the door.
Well, they know for sure he went out the door because they took him out the door. But I don't believe it was the front door because they would have been seen on camera. And deception detective did not realize this at that point in time. That's why he's saying that's right. Yeah. Why did he go out the door? Yes, Katie, he didn't go out the door, did he? In my opinion, this is hoaxing. This is what they were doing, was hoaxing. They were really good at trying to put their narrative out there. I will give them that. They were. They had us all believing certain things, even though we didn't necessarily believe them. They had us all believing certain things. Okay, let me see what I missed here. Well, I missed quite a bit. All right. Wannabe parents. Hello, Robin. Cecilia. Hello. Oh, be safe, Cecilia. Rosewood says, remember Chris Watts when the female detective asked him if his wife was the one that unalived the daughters? He said no at first, but then he told his father, yes, she did it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they put that in, in his head, and then he ran with it, thinking that was his out. What's the reporter's name? Holly Thompson from WSMV4. Google her. She's a good family friend. Yeah. Katie couldn't figure it out, yet she had him in therapy and wanted him in a boys' home. Yeah. Oh, he's a good kid. He's not mischievous. Really? Then why did you want to get rid of him? And then in other interviews, they've stated how he was, and all these things came out about him wetting himself and defecating and how stubborn he was, and yeah. How about he was carried out against his will? Exactly. He never walked out the door. But they did. They put that scenario out there, guys. They really did. Yep. Aaron Solomon and Lee Lynch are best friends. And Aaron Solomon is an essay. Is guilty of essay, I should say. Essay pervert. That's a good point, Rosebud. I still think she's a professional secret keeper. I think her trauma growing up, the things she went through, makes her an expert. Could very well be. Could very well be. Yeah, they know where he is. Exactly. Hello, AMC. Good to see you. Let's continue on.
Behaving. It'd make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hadn't been in trouble. So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media? Is there anything that, anyone he could have contacted? I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He loves Minecraft. The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks
On the
internet. I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel that right now that he's capable of having that kind of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his game. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online capabilities with games. I mean,
we've combed every electronic.
I mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided.
I think this is a lie too, guys, because didn't she in one of her interviews say that she caught Sebastian Googling something? So if he was locked down and didn't have internet access, how could he Google something?
So far, they're speaking about him in the present tense, and they seem to be trying to be cooperative. They are a little bit conclusive about him walking out that door. So they have zero curiosity about whether or not he was kidnapped or went out the window or did something else, which is why I think they know for a fact he went out that door. It's just about figuring out why that happened. They've not addressed any potential kidnappers. They've not addressed him through the camera yet. They've not asked for help, and they've not done any sort of call to action yet. And that might just be because they think this portion of the interview is background. But I think the actual interview that was shown on the news was clipped from this.
And still just don't have any answers.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this big question mark. He's vanished.
Yes, ma'am.
And no one can figure out where or why. All right. So let's talk too about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Right. And how would you describe?
If you've not followed along on this series, I have analyzed the biological father, Seth Rogers, in my video, How to Tell Innocent from Guilty. We analyzed him along these exact same criteria, and he came out squeaky clean.
Describe that relationship, the two.
He came out squeaky clean. Interesting. We all knew that, though, didn't we?
For them and the four of you.
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis.
Hi, Pam.
He's involved in school and therapy. And I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
I mean, two different households. And the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Tell me about Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn. He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves to play his games and his fidgets and Uno. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now. Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh, God, he loves music.
An eclectic taste. I mean, from as everybody knows, Eye of the Tiger to Eddie Vedder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here, we've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her. I mean, country, rock,
no
classic.
hip hop. We don't allow the hip hop.
Well, he doesn't really get into it
rap and
anyways.
things.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love the outdoors at all? I mean, would something outside that was somewhat outdoorsy be?
So Chris says they don't allow hip hop. He also said that the phone was locked down, no internet. So they seem like strict parents.
Enticing to him, or
Strict parents. So my question is, why don't they allow hip hop? You know, there'd be certain artists that I wouldn't want my kids to watch or listen to. But I mean, to just say no, is it because Chris doesn't like it? What's the reason for that? I mean, I don't. Be strict, fine, but don't be stupid, you know? And Queen, yeah, you know, I was wondering if it was just something that was a comforting gesture. I think I heard that on the behavior panel, that people will rock was a self-comforting gesture. But it could possibly be, you know, maybe she had it as well and was never diagnosed. Yes, Robin, and them laughing is ridiculous. Yeah, and look at it right now. He's like pouting because he doesn't want to be talking about him. Well, here's the thing, AMC. I'm thinking that they were so strict that if they put the phone on the table, he knew he better not pick it up. They had control. They were controlling him with fear. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes, Chris does not like hip hop. And she kind of corrected him, right? Yeah. No, people pretty much have said Taylor Swift isn't country anymore. She's pretty much hip hop, right? Yeah, she is nervous, in my opinion.
pulled him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser. And every year I did this many laps. I did this many laps. I mean, I've got t-shirts where they would write on his back. Every time the kids went around, they'd mark a mark on the back and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back.
Also note this is like the third time the mom has talked about Sebastian running. First, she said he's not a runner, as in he runs away from home. But then earlier when they were talking about what he likes, she said he likes running. And now she's going into this anecdote about him running laps. What is she saying? She might be trying to tell us that he might have gotten far, that maybe he did run away, and he might be further than people expect.
He likes playgrounds. He hates being dirty. He don't like being dirty.
Yeah, he's not your tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals, but he's terrified of bugs.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like, oh!
He's highly functioning. I know you all have described him as having a form of autism,
He does.
but just describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things and maybe how determined he was about certain things or his mindset.
He
He's got a stubborn mindset. If he believes it's this,
he gets on a one-man track, and he is just on it, and he is all about it.
but I mean, he's very smart.
He's
I mean,
not.
he can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So he's
Okay.
He loves playing games.
What about navigation? Like, did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
that is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get from like this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to Culver's.
Oh, the boy loves
He knows
malt.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt.
Uh-huh.
He loves malt, extra malt. Every time, extra malt.
Now, how far away does his dad live?
Clarksville. His dad lives up by Clarksville.
So he could guide someone all the way to Clarksville.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a pretty keen sense of direction, at least with certain things.
Familiar routes.
Yes.
Familiar routes. Okay.
Familiar
I mean,
routes.
if I took him another route going
He
this way,
takes
he would
it.
not know it.
He goes up there so often that he knows
Nice.
he knows how to get to his daddy's.
Right.
We know that.
His dad works with him as far as, well, we're going this way, we're going that way, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
keeps the same thing.
One of the things I like about this is that they're not trying to push a narrative. So if you've seen my Well series, you know they were pushing the kidnapping narrative. No matter what the question was, they tried to bring it back to a kidnapping. Or the McCanns, no matter what the question was, could this be possible? Is that possible? It will always, they found a way to push it back to a kidnapping narrative. Same with William Turrell. In all of those cases, when I saw how they were pushing the kidnapping story, I was confident in saying that the parents knew what happened and that they were responsible for what happened to the kid because they're pushing the kidnapping narrative. In this case, while they have not addressed any kidnappers or addressed Sebastian in the camera yet, or even asked for help, or even described him yet, they are being cooperative and they're answering all the questions the reporter is asking them. Now, with that said, a lot has come out about the Proudfoots and how they treated Sebastian, and in other interviews where they said sort of belittling things about him, questioning his manhood. And I think that those details have biased people against the Proudfoots more than what's warranted. And that's the reason I've put off analyzing the Proudfoots with the hopes that Sebastian would turn up before I did this. However, I've offered to interview them. They have not taken me up on it. My members have voted 2 weeks in a row for me to analyze them. My last video hit 50K. So my audience, you guys are my number one priority. So I'm going to give you the videos that you want and try to teach you the lessons that I think will help you in your everyday life. So why did I put off analyzing the Proudfoots? I'm going to explain that to you in a way that I explained it in the forum by asking you 2 questions, and then I'll break it down. The first question is, so answer this question. Here it is. Amy, a fictional character, is an autistic teenager living with her mother and stepfather, Stan. Amy has been missing for over a month. Stan, who has a history of domestic abuse, did not immediately contact the police after Amy's disappearance. Based on this information, which of these 2 options is more likely? Option number 1, Amy ran away, or option number 2, Amy was killed by Stan. Most of my subscribers and followers on X voted for Amy was killed by Stan. 77%, in fact. So now answer this question. Amy, a fictional character, is a teenager. Amy has been missing for over a month. Based on this information, which of the following outcomes do you find more likely? Amy ran away or Amy was murdered? When I left out the details about Stan and Amy's disability, 58% answered Amy ran away and only 41% answered Amy was murdered. And the correct answer in both situations is Amy ran away, because the question is, which of these is more likely given the details that we have? So even though it's more likely, for example, for a stepfather with a disabled child to abuse that child than it is for a biological father to abuse a non-disabled child, it doesn't flip the base rates of teenagers running away versus teenagers getting killed by their parents. So the base rates are there's 1.5 million teenage runaways every year compared to just 500 annual filicides where a parent kills their kid. So the ratio is 3,000 to 1 that the kid ran away rather than was murdered. And what happens is when we get biasing details like the stepfather had a criminal record, or the stepfather's really mean, or he only does interviews with people he can bully, or he just seems like a nasty guy, those little details can bias our analysis. And we actually forget to consider the base rates because we're biased by those details. And you can see that people understood the base rates when I left out those details. So if you're betting on a case where there is no body, it is a teenager, no matter how mean the parents are, or if they even have a criminal record of abuse, or they say nasty things about the kid, more likely than not, the kid ran away. The odds are 3,000 to 1. Let's listen closely and see if there's anything else that we're going to factor into our analysis.
That is very interesting that we do have that bias. I agree. But I think that one of the problems is deception detective did not realize that the evidence shows that Sebastian didn't walk out the door. So how could he run away? Right? There's no evidence he walked out the door. How could he run away? And I can see where he's saying we would have bias, he only interviews with people who he can bully. That's very true, Chris, right? We can't stand his anger issues. It triggers most of us, right? Makes us angry right back. So I can understand why there is that bias, and that, I understand what he's saying with the numbers, but in this case, there's the fact that Sebastian didn't walk out. There's no evidence that he did. and we have to look at the evidence, right? So let me see. Yes, Peter Hyatt was great. I didn't agree with his scenario that they locked him out of the house as punishment because we would have seen it on camera. Let's see what else. Bet you never gave him money to go get ice cream, extra malt. Yeah. I mean, yes, this is a shirt where it shows. It's just he's not showing that part of it. Ginger, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't. Exactly. They are so stuck on the past. Why is that? They are talking as if they were still living in the Remington Avenue house. Because we all know that once they came to Stafford Court, things changed in a big way, right? Things changed in a big way, and those happy moments were not so happy anymore. Not so happy anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Then he laughs. And AMC thinks Sebastian never made it home from TRH. Well, I mean, we don't know. Robin thinks he was carried out by way of the garage. Here's the thing, Robin, there is a camera on that side, the neighbor's side of that garage. So I don't think so, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Your bias came from watching all their interviews and them doing nothing to find him. Leaving the home was the icing on the cake. I don't think Dee Dee had enough information at that time. Exactly. His opinion has changed now, right? But I wanted to stop. Hello, Poppy Love. Glad you're here. Yeah, but has that been proven, Robin? I don't know if that's been proven that she was there. You know, and as far as my question about did he not make it home from TRH, well, then what about the flashlight video? What about the lights on at 3:10 a.m. in the morning? Yes. So, I mean, if you and I encourage you guys go watch the mob crew's videos on the screenshots that he received. The lights were definitely on in the house, and to me it looked like it was lit up right by the back door. So, I think he was carried out that back door despite whatever they said. Yeah, exactly. Since the only camera video that was not turned into LE was from the backyard neighbor. Yes. I agree. Carried out the back, thus the flashlights and the car. So, I've kind of questioned as well whether he didn't make it home. I've wondered if there was a handoff or something there. But then the flashlight video and the lights on at 3 a.m. does not make any sense. And we just heard that that number 3, guys, is important. It's a liar's number. Why did they pick 3 a.m. to do that, guys? Why? Why did she say it took her 3 minutes to go around the house and check? I never knew that before about the number 3, but now I'm really questioning it. He brings up a really good point. Yes, that's the other thing. There was a dash cam that showed her talking to him and him talking, right? In front of their home. Yeah. All right, let's continue on.
But so far, if I'm betting that these are not the best parents. They might have been so strict on Sebastian that he ran away, but I'm not seeing murderers.
And it works out.
Mhm.
So
Let's talk too, because earlier, Chris, you and I were talking, and you were saying that there are a lot of people who are harassed.
You know, guys, and that's just the thing. I had something to think about because he just said, so far I'm saying these are not the best parents, but I'm not saying they're red rummers. You know, if any of us were in this position, I mean, I wouldn't want someone analyzing my parenting skills. Would you? To be on national TV, right? That'd be horrible. Because we all make mistakes, don't we? We all could go back and wish we had done things differently, right? Maybe not everything, but there are things we all wish we could go back and do differently if you have children that are grown. I know I do. So I can't even imagine somebody analyzing my parenting skills on national, out there on the YouTube streets or anywhere. I can't even imagine. That'd be horrific.
Harassing both of you. What of any of that do you want to address? What do you want to say to any of these people?
Just that you don't know. And I don't wish you to ever know.
I would say it like this: everybody has an opinion, and it's perfectly okay to have that opinion, but you're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts. If they have questions, all they have to do is ask.
And I pray genuinely that no one ever goes through this.
Just be kind to people. I mean, it's real simple.
Isn't that sweet?
There are some people who have been talking, because I know this is part of the harassment. Is there anything you want to address about this child custody situation with the previous?
That's funny, huh?
So I have a current case that is ongoing in another state.
So this is the type of information that can bias even intelligent people, right? I know I have the smartest subscribers. I know I have the smartest followers on X. When I wrote this question, I included these details because I knew how powerful these details are. I knew they would bias even people who have watched all my videos. Right, so I wrote this article while these polls were still going on. I predicted the results. And I personally also have to work hard not to be biased against people.
We've requested that case to be sealed because there are some individuals who have taken upon themselves to put stuff out there that they don't quite know, which all they have to do is ask, I'll tell you. But because of that,
We don't want to hear lies, though, Chris.
It has nothing to do with our son. It has nothing to do with the situation. I just, people would respect that and then keep an open mind. It's totally different.
If Sebastian is able to watch this, and maybe he's watching this as it airs.
I wish the journalist hadn't brought this up.
I saw his face. I knew he was going to
So
say
now when
that.
they talk to camera, it's because the journalist suggested it. I wish the journalist had done something like, is there anything you want to say? Because we will broadcast this on the news. And then wait for them to turn to camera and speak to Sebastian on their own. So unfortunately, this piece of our checklist addressing the child through the camera is dubious now because they are going to do it, but it's at the direction of the interviewer.
And if he is, what do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
Oh gosh, that we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, the open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to...
So notice how Chris doesn't include himself there, though, right? The open arms, passive. The open arms are waiting for him, not my open arms. So do I think Chris had a great relationship with Sebastian? No. Could the relationship have been so bad and so abusive and so strict that Sebastian ran away? Yes. In fact, could the relationship have been so bad that it could amount to abuse? It's possible.
You think?
But these are not looking like parents who killed their kid and are now trying to push a hoax about him running away. It's looking more like parents who were extremely strict on their kid and either compelled him to run away or suggested he run away and are okay with him running away. Something along those
Took
lines.
him away.
And just like the Summer Wells case, we need to narrow it down over time. This is just the first interview of theirs I'm analyzing. With Summer Wells, we came up with a very, very sad conclusion for what I think actually happened based on the interviews. Here, hopefully, we come to a more positive conclusion that Sebastian ran away and has been hiding somewhere and is going to reemerge.
Okay, so all of us don't believe that he ran away because we know the evidence now. Deception detective knows that evidence now as well. So this does lead me to believe, though, guys, that they're not red rummers. That they put him somewhere. This leads me to believe that more than anything now. Hello, Bernadette. Good to see you. Yes, the reward is still $347,000. Cheryl Light, less people up at 3 a.m., but yeah, they use that 3 in several different interviews. A 3, according to what Deception Detective said, is a liar's number. Robin. If they put him in school while the sneaking around, they could have just taken him there. I think because of the CPS reports, I don't know. I don't honestly know. It's a good question, K9. I really don't know. I don't think it was a school, though. I think it was more like a labor farm, something like that he was trafficked into. That's what I think. But I could be wrong. I'll bet she hopes nobody knows. Yeah. In my opinion, she didn't really talk to Sebastian. She didn't look into that camera and talk to her son. If that were me, I would have been looking into the camera and talking directly to him, just like Seth does. In my opinion, it has everything to do with if Sebastian was going to testify. Yeah. Because remember, we talked about how Sebastian found his voice in that school. Beach High School became his safe place. And somebody there listened to him and had his ear and was reporting for him. That was his safe place. Before that, he didn't have that, but he found that at Beach High School. Thank the Lord, right? He found his safe place. So, yeah, Chris could have been very, very scared about Sebastian testifying. Yeah, CP. I don't think CP ever liked him. Look at these photos, guys. Is he smiling? Sebastian is. He's kind of half smiling there a little bit. He doesn't have his arms around Sebastian, though. Is he smiling there? I don't see it. You pray he's hiding? A 15-year-old boy. Where's he going to hide for a year? Yes, I pray that they gave him to someone that's taking good care of him. I think the parents would have been curious about the 315 lights. Also, Chris said right away that the boy in North Carolina wasn't Sebastian. Katie said it could be. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, when that flashlight video came out, why did these two debunk it immediately? Seth went to the police and got an answer, even though we know that the answer wasn't correct, right? But these two just debunked it immediately. Now, me, if there was a car in my neighborhood at 3:15 in the morning, around the time that my son went missing, I'd be wondering about that, and I wouldn't let the police let it go. Yeah, these are pictures that just came out from the obstacles, K9. The one picture I have seen before. This one I have seen before because I talked about it, the way that Chris has got his leg and Sebastian, they all have their leg that way. And I don't know if it's just I don't know what it is, but they're all got their legs going that way. You can't see Sebastian so much, but they do all have their legs going a certain way. I have seen that picture before. I have not seen this one before. I have not seen this one before. I have not seen this one before. And I have not seen this one before. And I think that one's cute. I like that one. Now he is on a computer. He's probably playing games. And Faith was a witness that saw Chris hit Sebastian in the face. Can you imagine that poor little girl? That's probably why he wanted Sebastian out of the home during her visits. Yeah. Yeah, think about it. Your child goes missing, they find activity outside your home. You have no interest. That is sus. Yes, he's way younger in all of them. These are their family moments, and their family moments only happened at the Remington Ave house in Gallatin. Once they moved to Stafford Court, they didn't have those family moments anymore. Family moments turned to abuse, I think. Yeah, he's adorable. You know, we've all fallen in love with Sebastian. When he comes home someday, I'd love to meet him. Be awesome. But I live a long ways away, so I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. All right, let's finish up here real quickly.
To probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice that we just want our boy home. Bad. Badly. But
That mama's heart, I know it's daddy's too, but I feel like there's always that extra special bond. Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
Let's talk about the community, because I want you all to know, even my church body, I mean, we're all praying for his safe return quickly. What do you all want to say to the community?
Thank you.
with everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay the gratitude, the love that we have felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But don't stop looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
Good. That's what I expect an innocent parent to say. Or at least a parent who knows that the kid might still actually be out there. Right? Thank you, but don't stop looking. Seth Rogers did the same thing. They know the kid's out there. Until the kid is found, it's never enough. So Katie, what she said there, to me at least, suggests that she knows Sebastian is still out there somewhere. And their greatest sin at this point, and any deception that we're detecting, could be that they are hiding the reason Sebastian went out the door. They've already admitted they know he walked out the door. They know he didn't run out the door. Something about that front door, they're admitting they know it happened. She didn't say, I don't know how he got out of the house. She's only saying, I know he went out the door. I just don't know why. And that might be the part that they are omitting, and that they're being deceptive about. And if they truly search their souls, they should be upfront with us and upfront with the police, reveal everything that they're holding back about that, because it might help the police deduce where Sebastian is. For example, let's say they got in a big argument and Sebastian said, I'm going to Dad's house. And she said, fine, go. Right? Okay, go, leave. But don't take your shoes. If you're going to go to Dad's, you're not taking the shoes that I bought you. So go barefoot. And he goes out. And then she thinks to herself, oh man, a few hours later, where is he? Chris, I sent him outside the house without shoes. He hasn't shown up. I just went outside and I think he actually ran away. And then that would be the part that they hide. So there's a lot of nuance to these things. And we're not going to get all that nuance from just one interview.
They go until he's home.
All right, let's watch the last part of this now.
Let's mention, it's been on the search itself, because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds We've got volunteers, we've got law enforcement from within the state, from without, outside of the state. I mean, do you feel like they're doing as much as they can? I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do, but we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still have.
Another thing they constantly talk about from clips I've seen is other states, right? People from other states are helping. I was in another state working. That could be a little bit of leakage that they might at the back of their mind think Sebastian has run away to another state. He's gone very far.
No, he's not run away to another state, but they took him to another state. What do you think, guys?
I haven't brought my baby back.
They will. They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's one day at a time, getting through this and bringing him home.
Yeah.
What is the reaction to the fact that somehow his image, he hasn't been captured on any video anywhere?
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove.
Hold on, though. There was just about a full moon that night. So,
where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I went asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check, even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
And I understand there was a request for video, any sort of footage of Sebastian from earlier in the day on Sunday before he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point.
we're not pervy Jew. Can't talk about it. Liar, liar. Pants on fire.
Law enforcement, that is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided. So cooperation is there. I mean,
What do you want to say to our viewers? Anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
So once again, they're being led into asking for help, a call to action. They never addressed a potential kidnapper, which to me signals that they probably aren't even considering the notion that he was kidnapped from the home. I think they think he ran away. They know he was outside.
Help spread the word and keep searching. And
They know he was outside because they carried him outside.
thank you. And just if you think you see him, call him in.
thank all the viewers, everybody that's helped from across the board. I mean, everybody has been tremendous.
Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll at least he'll look.
Right. So the mother is saying the right stuff for the mother of a kid who is missing. Doesn't mean that she wasn't involved in creating the situation where he ran away or went missing. And if we do detect a lot more deception around what happened that night, for example, she's very reticent about what happened that night in this interview. There actually wasn't a lot of meat there to analyze about the specifics of that evening.
Nope.
For example, she seems to indicate that she knows through leakage that he ran away at nighttime, that he went out the door and that it was dark. When she was asked about the video footage, she said it was dark that night.
It was dark that night. 3:10 a.m. She's acknowledging that he left when it was dark. Imagine that.
How did she know he didn't run away at dawn with a little bit of daybreak?
Because she took him out of the house at 3:10 a.m.
So she's clearly visualizing him going out the door in the dark.
Yep.
Probably because she watched him do that. Now the question is why? Was he forced to? Was he encouraged to?
Even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name, tell him to stay put.
And he could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes, like the search is never over until he comes home. That is for
He's
sure.
so smart.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying, hoping, and searching for Sebastian.
So that's the end of that interview. If you want me to continue the series and analyze the next interview they did, let's get this video to 50,000 views on your.
Okay. So that was the end of that. What do you guys think? Lies, lies, lies. Don't talk about my truck. Yes. Or his mommy. That's right. It's always dark at night. That is funny, Robin. If you think about it like that, it is, right? Katie, you need to get your big butt out there and look for him, right? Let's see. Yeah, we still haven't seen him playing video games. Only Seth and Justin has. I know. Nina must have been terrified. I would be. Yeah. After everything we know about Holly, it's kind of scary. Yes, Robin, we'll be there to support you. Absolutely. And Poppy Love says, I don't know how she was able to get through all that they put her through. The airport situation, being forced to let Faith go with them. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and for those of you who may not have heard and don't know about Robin, horrific situation that happened to her daughter. There is a video about it. here at Granny's Crime Busters. I encourage you to look up that video and to watch it. Ginger, can you find that link for that? And then also she's going to be on Smiley's World tonight at 8 p.m. And I encourage you to go and support her. She's still dealing with the perpetrator that took her daughter's life. So I would encourage you to just support her. All of us here at Granny's Crime Busters do. Yeah. She knows she planned this so well that he isn't seen on a lot of cameras. Not only that, but the cameras were jammed. And she probably knew how to jam them. I told him to go to bed and he did. Yeah. And she laughed like she was shocked that he went to bed. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that true, Robin? He talks about his community is amazing, but all I could think of when he was saying that was how mean he was to his neighbors. Remember how he stood out in the middle of the road and then was yelling at them just because they were driving down the road? Yeah. Community's amazing, right? You can talk the talk, but can't walk the walk. Yeah. Poppy said, I believed her during that interview. I don't think it was until when CP said he didn't call 911. Yeah. Hong said they're about to put out more photos of Sebastian from surveillance cameras. Interesting. Yeah, you're welcome, K9. You're welcome. I'm still researching. I'm trying to find connections, if you know what I mean. I didn't think she was faking that. I still have wondered how she did that. I wonder if she cried then because she regretted it or out of fear. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Regret, fear of what he may be going through, what happened to him. Do I believe her when she said, I don't know where he is? Yes. Why do I believe that? Because she said that, or because I feel that she trafficked him to a labor camp or a boys' home or something like that. And she doesn't literally know where he is. And there it is, guys. That's the one from here when we talked about it. But yes. So, and we do still want justice for Nicole. Do you think his friends through this past year, those that even switched over to the dark side, are getting paid to be his friends? That's a good question. I think so. But, I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that. I mean, look at how much they rake in, guys, compared to those of us who have the heart for Sebastian, who are constantly keeping his name out there and talking positively about him coming home. Think about it. Yes. Which, by the way, yeah, most of the time they don't even talk about Sebastian, right? All they can do is talk about everybody else and cut him down, right? It's really sad situation. But I am going to share our grannyism and thinking about St. Patrick's Day coming up tomorrow. I thought I'd share an Irish blessing with you guys. May your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. I love Irish quotes and blessings. So, yeah. May your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. That's what I wish for each and every one of you. And for this little guy right here. Look at that little guy. Yes, absolutely, Robin. Prayers for you. You're in our prayers constantly. You already made your corned beef and cabbage. Irish luck. Yeah, isn't that a good one? I love that. It's a good way to just shower positive and good blessings upon people, right? It's just, yeah. Just want all of you to absorb that. May your troubles be less, your blessings be more. That one is very familiar to you. Yes. Yes, I do believe that, Poppy. I knew what you meant. But yes. I've heard that. I didn't even know that was a thing until well, somebody said it in chat one day early on. And that there are those who will pay people to bash others. There you have it. I didn't even know it was a thing. There is a name for it. I don't know what the name is. I can't think of it. Shows you how much I care about it, right? There is a name for it though. But yeah. How could anyone send that sweet boy away? Yeah. Right? I mean, just sad. That's what the name of it was, bashing for cash. It's a real thing, guys. They get paid for that. So that's really sad. So everybody, I encourage you to go to Smiley's World tonight, 8 p.m., to hear Nicole's story, Robin's daughter, to hear what's going on with that, with her case. I was going to say that jerk. It's too good of a word for him. But let's support our Robin. And that's all I really had for tonight. So I want to thank you guys for being here. May your troubles be less, your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. Have a good night. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.